Hello and welcome back, Disruptors, to the 75th episode of the Oligarchy Disruptor podcast with your host, Bennett Leon. And of course, we have Ashley Downing with us as well.
Hello, everybody.
All right, guys. So today we have another amazing episode for you. Of course, we're going to be talking about what's kind of the topic of the moment, of course, which is the riots in Minneapolis. And now that it's kind of spreading to other cities, we're seeing it pop up in New York and LA, Chicago, where we are and stuff. So this is a movement. This is now a movement gone past Minneapolis, and it acted as a catalyst. So that's really awesome about it. We're also going to comment on a couple of videos, and then article being about how the officer that killed and held his knee against George Floyd's neck it was today arrested, charged with manslaughter and murder.
Third-degree murder.
Third-degree murders.
Which is important to mention.
And we'll go into that. We'll definitely go into that. So let's go ahead and just jump into the first story we have here for you. So just give me 1 second here. Okay. So here we have a really interesting footage of the riots erupting in Minneapolis, and we'll just go ahead and watch it.
And it just collapsed. There you go. The building just collapsed in the midsection as well. And you hear even some cheers of people, again, who are watching in awe. But as we watch that, there are no National Guards members here. There is no form of first responders here on the ground in this part of Minneapolis. No police officers. Oh, fireworks right next to us. No police officers. No firefighters. No National Guardsmen. So wherever they've been called, they have not been called into this area, it appears.
So now we're going to move on to this topic of the police officer who, of course, like you see here by Fox News, was arrested and charged with third-degree murder and manslaughter, which was the guy who killed George Floyd and kept his knee on his throat for about 5 minutes. And the reason why I pull up a Fox News article, for those of you that are surprised to see this, is because I think it's important to have different perspectives and to see what other people are thinking and saying about this. And
yes,
not only being aware of it, but just kind of saying like the flaws in it as well. Once you know like the reality and the truth of the situation, of course. But yeah, so here we see a quote by Freeman who says, "We felt in our professional judgment that it was time to charge, and we have so done it." He also mentioned that this was the fastest that they've ever the fastest that they've ever charged a police officer in Minnesota for that. So I think that's really interesting in and of itself. He says that, as you can see over here. I'll kind of blow it up for you guys. And then he goes on to say, normally these cases take 9 months to a year. We have to charge these cases very carefully because we have a difficult burden of proof. And that quote highlights a lot of the injustices that I feel like come from this type of issue. Is that like a lot of Black people, like in that case, let's use this specific officer, right? So he has, I believe it was 18 complaints filed about him within his 19 years as a police officer. And of those 18 complaints, only 2 of them, like anything came of that, any kind of like reprimand or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
So that in and of itself speaks volumes. So like,
and a good chunk of those were for excessive force, also to mention.
Yeah, exactly. But like, as you can see, the same person is capable and totally willing to go much further than that, just because of their racist ideologies or whatnot. But I just think it's really important to remember that about the situation, that it's just the system itself works perfectly for the people that are. It works for the fucking police, basically. It works for the government. That's what I'm trying to say. I'm sorry, I kind of said it in a weird way, but yes, you have something to say. Go ahead.
It's really funny that they say that in this type of a situation, yet they seem to find their burden of proof very quickly when their client is African American or a person of color. You know, so they seem to do a lot of different things to try to reach that burden of proof threshold, but apparently with police officers, it takes a year or so.
Mm-hmm. I think it's also kind of interesting to note that that as we see here, well, first this kind of brings up another issue. So like, let's read this and then talk about that other issue. So according to the criminal complaint against Chauvin, Floyd's autopsy showed he did not die from strangulation alone, but a combination of being restrained along with various underlying medical conditions, including heart disease and hypertension. So I think that's really interesting to note. But the point is that they use these kind of pretexts to kind of take out the heat a little bit off of the. But the first autopsy showed that it was a homicide, or not the autopsy. The coroner's office said that it was a homicide. So I thought that was very interesting. But that, like we mentioned in that one video yesterday, it just means that they were, he was killed at the hands of another legally. That's what.
Yeah.
So,
and it also says here, he did not die from strangulation alone. I mean, I don't think that if anybody read that about any other person, that they would not be outraged. You know, what do you mean by strangulation alone? Does it matter? He was still strangulated to death.
Like literally.
Yeah, but he had heart disease, though, guys, too. So
exactly. So this is a quote from Minnesota Governor Tim Walz, who promised swift action on Floyd's death, but also pleaded with protesters who have set fire to Minneapolis to stop so the city could restore justice and order, which is bullshit. They just want everything to go back to normal, status quo. Like, let's line everything back up. Don't freak out, guys. It's all okay. Like, they want us to remain complacent, but fuck you. But this is what he goes on to say. Quote, I won't patronize you. Woo! Thank you very much. I won't patronize you as a white man about living those experiences, but I'm asking you to help us, Walt said. Help us use humane ways to get the streets to a place where we can restore the justice so that those who are expressing rage and anger and demanding justice are heard, not for those who throw firebombs into businesses. So I think what's very notable from this part is that, and then what many conservatives and like that spectrum of the political like area is talking about, is they're kind of pointing and highlighting the damage to businesses, to the damage to law and order. There was a great meme that I saw earlier today. It was like Robert Reich posted it. It was like a side-by-side, like, this is a protester, this is a thug. The thug was like a Black Lives Matter type protester or whatever. And then the one to the right was like a MAGA wearing like white dude with like a flannel shirt and like M16 rifle, and that he was labeled as a protester. So this was very interesting. Not only cliche, but true. And that's what's very important to know about this as well. But I think it's a great point to kind of move on and show the next biggest thing, which is something that happened, or this video was posted earlier today. I think it happened yesterday, if I'm not mistaken, or very early in the morning today, which is also a possibility. So let's go ahead and just watch it, and then we'll comment on it after.
And now, give us a second, guys. We can move back to where you'd like. We can move back to where you'd like here. We are live on the air at the moment. This is the four of us. We are one team. Just Put us back where you want us. We are getting out of your way, so just let us know. Wherever you'd want us, we will go. We were just getting out of your way when you were advancing through the intersection. So just let us know, and we got you. And this is a scene here playing out in Minneapolis. This is part of the advanced police presence that we saw come over the course of really minutes when the local police showed up at the fire department, or with the fire department, I should say, on that building we showed you that was burning. This is among the state patrol unit that was advancing up the street, saying and scattering the protesters at that point for people to clear the area. And so we walked away. I'm sorry? You're under arrest. Okay. Do you mind telling me why I'm under arrest, sir? Why am I under arrest, sir?
Wow.
We're arresting him live on CNN. We've been told you before that we are with CNN.
And just like that, there goes one. They go on to arrest them all. But it's scary.
Mm-hmm.
This was a scene from earlier.
Yeah. Because there's the dozens of cops just kind of lined up in the intersection.
I noticed the Target sign.
Uh-huh. Now it looks like another officer's coming over to where the crew is.
How about that, guys? We were just out here reporting the closure of the streets. They just, Omar was just arrested.
So really quick, I know I said I was going to pause it, but the voice you're hearing right now is actually the cameraman. So, like, when do you ever hear the fucking cameraman talk? You know?
Right, and he sounds really scared.
He also has a mask on, so it's a little like.
Oh, maybe, yeah, duh. But he does sound kind of scared.
It's a little muffled, but yeah, they're all gonna get arrested. That's what's crazy. And it's also interesting that it happens to be CNN of all fucking people. They have to make them the martyrs. That's hilarious, but whatever.
I believe they're about to, we're all about to be arrested. That's our producer. I'm probably going to be taken in a minute. We were just, like I said, just reporting on the closure.
So the producer was just arrested.
Yeah, guys, why are you arresting me? We're just passing along the message, your message.
Crazy.
We're just out here doing our job as well as you all. Can you tell me what is? Okay. I'm being arrested now. Can I put the camera down?
Like these guys, I don't get it, bro. Okay, so this is basically the end of the video. They took all 4 of them away. They were all arrested. What goes on and happens after that is, this is just off the top of my head because I saw this earlier today. But basically, the president of CNN reached out to the governor, I believe, and then a few other people using their resources that they have and the privileges that they have at the top to pull the strings that they needed to get those people released. And they had sent out a tweet earlier. Let me see if I can pull it up on the spot here. But they had commented and demanded the release. So I have it here for you guys. It says, a CNN reporter and his production team were arrested this morning in Minneapolis for doing their jobs, despite identifying themselves a clear violation of their First Amendment rights. The authorities in Minnesota, including the governor, must release the 3 CNN employees immediately. So that was a tweet by the PR arm of CNN. But
It's kind of crazy when our media is getting arrested.
yeah, but it happened, and yeah, it was chilling. It's very chilling. Like those cops, like they clearly saw they were live. They were airing it. Like the dude had the mic up to it and he was talking and everything, camera going, identification, asking him like, "Yo, where do I go?" As soon as he started hearing, as soon as the cops started hearing things he didn't want to hear, they were like, "All right, we're arresting you." And that's something that cops can do, you know, like they can arrest you and still and you not actually have committed a crime. Like you can always get arrested, whether you're detained or not. Whether you're detained or not is different. Being detained, you can get detained. You can't get detained for any reason. They can't hold you for any reason. But they can arrest you for. I've known people that have gotten arrested for flipping people off, for flipping a cop off. But obviously, we know we can all do it. But
like arrested as in like booked? You can't get like booked. You have to have committed a crime.
I mean, shit has happened, Ash.
Oh, well, shit has happened, but that's not like.
I mean, they can't, like, I'm saying they can is like they have like even the possibility of doing that.
Yeah.
But yeah, so pertaining to that one video, let's kind of like regress of that. Is that the amount of cops that were there, one, when there was no one really there to begin with, two, the like how it kind of went down, you know, like they were explaining everything, completely transparent, all that kind of stuff. And what the cops did in response to that, they just decided, all right, we're just gonna like they were on them the whole time. Like one of the police officers had his arm around the reporter.
Reporter, yeah.
Yeah, well, he was still recording or whatever, like broadcasting. So they weren't like, they were all over them to begin with. They were, I'm assuming that was like hostile from the beginning because that's just kind of what it seems like comes off as.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
go ahead.
I had like a brain fart. Like I was like, what was the last video we just watched? I've watched so many freaking videos about this, like in general, this topic. But about the cops arresting the CNN, I think the biggest thing that sticks out to me is the fact of what I just said, that the police are arresting our media. Like these are the people who are supposed to be giving us the news, which, as we all know, they don't really give very accurate news all the time. But we still have that right to receive that news. And the fact that they're arresting those people is kind of a little startling. But then I also think too that the area that they were in seemed like pretty secluded, which was also strange to me. Like, why, if they were arresting them because they couldn't be there, why couldn't they be there? Exactly. You know, like what was going on that they couldn't be there? It's not like they were, you know, and they weren't even talking to them, you know, like they were just reporting news. So that was just kind of weird too. Like the whole situation was just like, why?
Yeah. And that's why they were released, you know, like the 4 of them were released.
Yeah.
soon after, like the president of CNN reaching out and stuff and pulling the strings. So it all worked out in the end. All good news. Well, at least for them, getting released. Well, all the Black people keep dying all over the country, and then we have the national protests and social unrest and upheaval. So we'll see what happens in the next days or the coming days. I do not foresee this ending within the next week.
Few weeks.
Yeah, we'll see how long it goes. I'm gonna say it's for sure gonna go on within the next week.
I think it's going to be longer.
We'll see.
I hope it's longer. I really do.
I hope it is too. I think it's what it's gonna need. The movement's gonna need that kind of like push for that. But let's just end it here. Thanks again, guys, for tuning in to this episode. If you haven't done so already, please follow us on our social media pages, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, you name it, we have it. Also, we have articles, and they're on our website, so go ahead and check out our blog there. And that's pretty much it. That's all I have for you guys. So
Awesome.
yeah, definitely. So thanks again, guys, and we will see you on the next episode.
Bye, guys.